Good evening, Gym Atlanta. Welcome to our date night here at the Movement Church in Conyers, Georgia. This evening, we have a special treat for you. And I know you'll enjoy yourselves. And if you're on your way, please make haste while the sun shineth. No, it's dark outside though. Okay. So we're going to begin with a scripture. And the scripture comes from Songs of Solomon 2, from 1 through to 5. I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valley. As the lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. As the apple tree among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sun. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. He brought me to the banquet house, and his banner was over me, was love. So he brought me to his banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Fifth and last, stay me with flagons. Stay me with flagons. Comfort me with apples, for I am sick of love. And that comes from the Bible. It's from Songs of Solomon 2, from 1 through to 5. And it's that kind of evening. Oh my goodness. Whew, I'm hot. Before we go any further, let me welcome our elder, and he's going to pray as we open in prayer.
Good evening. Let us pray. Mighty and righteous Father, as we are gathered here this evening, Lord, concerning you and love, let us do everything according to your will and to your way. In your name we pray. Amen.
Yes, so we're here at date night at the gym here in Conyers, Georgia, and we hope that you'll enjoy yourself. But before I go any further, I would like to make note of our sponsors, make mention of our sponsors. And our sponsors are Why Not Create, Emerge Multimedia Limited, Carla Dunbar Ministries International, 720 Support, The Palettes Girl, Women Grow Global, and Larman and Associates. We ask now that you share the live so that somebody else can have some fun this evening. And if you're at home and you're already on, please go ahead and grab something, a popcorn, a glass of wine, something, to soothe the moment, to relax, because this evening is an evening of fun and laughter and love. All right, so this evening, before we go any further, our Love Bowl activity question. Let me remove the spectacles. Right, the Love Bowl question this evening is, using Shakespeare or the King James Version, express your love, express how you feel about your spouse. Let me say again, using the Shakespeare or the King James Version, express how much you love your spouse, how you feel about your spouse. Online, I'm looking forward to your comments. I'm going to ask Bishop to monitor the online comments for me, or Lady Janelle, so I can know when the online people throw their answers in. So please go ahead and look for those for me. So how are you today? How are you feeling? I hope everybody, I'm looking forward to the hot seat, because we have some hot people to do the hot seat tonight. Tonight we have the Newells on the hot seat, and trust me, the seat hot. I'm sitting here, I'm telling you the seat hot. It's hot, right? So we have the Newells here for the hot seat this evening, and we know Bishop has a word for us this evening. We have family and friends online, and we're looking forward to everything that's here for us. We have treat outside. We have refreshments here, free of cost. So if you're nearby, do come by. We will love to have you here. The topic this evening that Bishop is going to share with us is how we build security and assurance, how to build security and assurance with your spouse, right? This topic is how to build security and assurance with your spouse. So without further ado, I'm going to go to the Love Bowl. I'm going to go to the Love Bowl. So, Mr. Larman.
Yes.
Let me sit back. Oh, please do. Tell me what you have to say.
Yes. Sharice, I love thee, my wife, the one that's meant for me. Once I was half, but now I'm whole, for I love thee with all my heart.
Oh,
with
Lord.
words I cannot explain. That I love
Wow.
you, baby.
Wow. My head has swelled up. Hold on, my head is swelling. Oh my God. Okay, so mine says, my dearest, the love of my life, I yearn for thee daily. Woo. I love them shows. You know, I love those 18th century shows. I love them. I watch them all the time. When mine eyes beholdeth thee, I knew that you would be mine. You have captured my heart, and now I know that I shan't live a day without you. Look here, back in the day, you don't know enough. Back in the day, I lived back in the day. Back in the day, those were the words. And now we're going to go to the people. So, Mr. Larman, can you go down? And we'll start with this nice, lovely couple right here. Yes.
Mine is more so explaining who she is. Proverbs 31:27. She looketh well to the ways of her household and eateth not the bread of idleness. Because she is not an idle person, and she makes sure I have everything I need, even when I don't know I need it. And sometimes I procrastinate on things that I need, but they show up anyway.
Yes.
So she definitely makes sure that we have everything we need.
Next, yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm doing Shakespeare. I'm not a Shakespeare person, but I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow the assignment. I do love you more than words can wield. The matter, dearer than eyesight, space, and liberty.
Them things there. You heard that? Did you hear that? Did you hear that? Next to the Newells. Go ahead.
Because like you know, we're kindled spirit.
Yes.
I am way back.
Then.
Way back. Dwayne knows. And I'm all about the songs of Solomon.
Yes, good.
Set me a seal upon your heart, for love is strong.
Yes. Yes. Them something did those things. Oh.
I still think Shakespeare is better, though. I chose Shakespeare because, from a vivid point of view, your imagination is going to work overtime with Shakespeare. So, only Shakespeare could give such a, passionate, intimate, and romantic so let's go. My dearest love.
Thou art the very soul of my existence. For without thee, life would be but a barren waste,
Yes! Girl!
void of
Get her
joy
a fan.
and
Hold
meaning.
on, Mr. Do It. Get her a fan, please. Get her a fan, please. No, man. Go ahead. Start over. Start from the top.
My dearest love, thou art the very soul of my existence. For without thee, life would be but a barren waste, void of joy and meaning. This is the same guy that says, when I saw you, I fell in love, and you smiled because you knew. I'll also give you another one.
After all.
If music be the food of love, play on. If music be the food of love, play on.
Yes. You're hot, Sister Car. Feeling very. I'll be hot. I'll be hot. Huh? Okay, we're moving to the Dunbars, the elder and Bishop Dunbar, and then we go back to Lady Janelle.
Yes, I don't have a Shakespeare. I have something from my heart.
After all.
Carla, my love, you are my art incline and my love divine.
After all.
The first time I laid eyes upon thee, I knew that thou would be the one and only.
Right there.
Right,
It sounded like he wanted to add something, you know. But if he not have anything. It might
I felt like he wants to freestyle something.
something more.
Yes, you understand?
Later, right? Right?
I guess I don't know anything about Shakespeare, so I am going King James.
Which is right.
Right, I'm going King James. Let me see now.
She have many, you know. Whole heap. There's a whole lot.
Nala, my love, let me kiss thee with the kisses of my lips,
After all.
for thou art the choicest among men. Thy legs are set like alabaster columns,
Talk to me.
and my heart swelleth for thee.
I tell you, these people, and I can bet it comes from the Bible. I can bet.
Well, even though you don't have the other half here, we still can hear your love profession.
King James Version. This is one from Solomon, you read from to it. I found the one my soul loves, and my love, it burns like blazing fire, like a mighty flame. Many waters cannot quench love. Rivers cannot sweep it away.
Oh, I tell you.
Fire.
I tell you. Lady Janelle, I'm going to ask you to join me here because I'm sure somebody online has already sent in something, and I would like to hear their version of their love. In the meantime, let's go to our sponsors for the evening. Our sponsors are Why Not Create, Emerge Multimedia Limited, Carla Dunbar Ministries International, 720 Support, The Palettes Girl, Women Grow Global, and Larman and Associates. Lady Janelle. They're not chatting. Online people, can you just put something in the chat? The question is, if you were to tell your spouse how much you love them using the King James Version or Shakespeare version, how would you say it? Express yourself. Feel free. Be free. I'm coming back to you guys, okay? After the comedy feature. So let's go to the comedy feature and then we'll go back.
God, I loveth thee, Anthony.
Well, Anthony, shout.
Okay, this one is from Bishop. Elder says, "My love, my turtle dove, my dumpling, my gizzada, my love goes for you like how fly goes for sugar."
Yes, and that's part of a Louise Bennett poem. I was trying to find it. No.
Oh, wow.
It says, "My darling dove, my little dove, my dumpling, my gizzada. My
Oi.
sweetest soul, I goes for you, like how fly goes for sugar."
Wow.
It's a part of a Louise Bennett poem. I know you guys are not understanding. So it's telling them how they feel using things, Jamaican things, dumplings, gizadas are sweet, are things that Jamaicans like. So it's a Jamaican poem. It tells you flies follow sugar. So it tells you, I love you like how flies love sugar. I'm trying to find it. If I do, I'll read it all. But that was something marriage. And we're now going to go to the hot seat. And so I'm going to invite the elder and the bishop here, and also the Noels. Please make them welcome as they come. Yes. Okay.
Yes. Come on. There's a mic. There's a mic over there.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I did make some efforts. I wanted to read my poem.
Right.
All right, I was in the back, you know. Anyway, my little poem to my love. Take my love as fire. May it purify your heart and smooth your desire.
Ooh.
It's with
Right.
this love I give you my all, forever together and never apart.
Look at that. That was
Now
awesome.
listen to that.
No,
Listen to that.
Yes.
Look here, she's free single and this mingle. Come on, somebody.
See, that's what we talk about. So you can be single and you can be here, because this is where you learn how to be married and how to stay married. All right. So let's welcome the Newells in the hot seat. Right. So this is good, right? This is date night, you know. You see, we tend to forget about these things. Thank you so much, Cher and Glenn, for taking us through that Love Bowl activity. But you know, when I wrote Sexscription, this book right here, how many couples here have Sexscription? You do. Are you reading it all? Because I quoted a lot of Solomon in Sexscription, because I just think that Solomon is such a wonderful lyricist. Like the man full of lyrics. You understand? He's from Jamaica. I think so too. I think Solomon came from Jamaica. What do you think, Lady Adrian? I think he come from Jamaica? Okay. Yes. He's a wonderful lyricist. I think so. He just says the nicest things. And you can't even believe that this is flowing from the word of the Lord. Where, you know, the Lord, where in the Lord of heaven, where purity reigns and the angels cry holy. But that is where it is, right? And so we ought to cherish that kind of a love. We have to keep it burning and stoke it like the fire in the fireplace, right? Great. Now, Elder and I. Elder likes to look at me. You want to look at me for Elder? Why is he looking at me, Dwayne? I don't know why he's looking at me now. So today in the hot seat, we'll be seeking, as always, to strengthen confidence in our marriage. And so the hot seat question today for the Newells, and of course you can also participate, is how do you build security and assurance with your spouse? Now, as a therapist, I often have to treat with couples. Most of the time, couples do not come when they are well, right? They come when they're sick. So they come when they're ailing and they're limping, elder. They come when there's insecurity, born out of infidelity or lack of trust, or something has been eroded. That's when I get them and I have to start working on these relationships, right? And so some of those things can build insecurity in a relationship and create a lack of confidence. But those are not the only things, though. And so that's what we want to discuss this evening, that it doesn't have to be about unfaithfulness in the relationship, right? Hella, you need to draw up a little closer to me. And you look at him too far and taking every word out of my mouth, right? So there are other things can happen in a relationship, and that's what I want to find out about tonight. So let me pose the first question. What are some of the things that you think can build insecurity in a relationship?
I think a job can do that, you know. Yeah, being too busy. Yes, you can be too busy that you don't spend time with your spouse. Okay. You can work night and day, and don't spend any time. You don't go together. You don't spend any time together, and then that you will grow apart.
Like you have a job where
like you have a job that you can travel and all of that.
Right.
So eventually you just start to drift apart.
Right.
Because you don't have any time to spend with your spouse.
So you start look to the other people, then they're spending the time with that work.
Right.
Okay.
So that can do that.
That is true. I never thought of that. I never thought of that. But that's so true. Because I remember quite well now, Elder, me have to go into your business. No, I remember doing when I just first came to national attention in Jamaica. When I came to national attention, knowing I was in high demand. I was speaking in 3-4 parishes or states in a day, you know, and of course I'm a sex therapist, so I'm talking all sorts of sexy things out there. So was there ever a time, Elder, when there was a level of insecurity because of, that was my job, that's my call?
Yes, well, sometimes you really get lonely because your spouse is just always busy, and then when she get home, she's tired. So you just start to drift apart because automatically you're not communicating love or anything like that anymore. It just may be about the kids, about general life and things because you're busy. So sometimes those things happen.
Okay. All right. So I guess we must have done some work to repair the breach. And I'm not saying that I'm incognizant of what Elder alluded to just now, because I know for sure that there was breakdown because I was extremely busy. Not only was I speaking across different states and parishes and out the island and in the island, but I was also pastoring 2 churches, 2 or 3 churches at the time. Pardon me?
I had 3.
Okay. All right, that's it so far back in my memory. So yes, and then I was serving on other boards and stuff as well. And so I seem to have neglected you.
Not directly. You just got caught up in that sort of thing, in the work.
How did that cause you to feel?
Well, at that point, I feel left out. At that time, you feel left out. But the truth to be told now, it doesn't bother me anymore. I just get used to it. Yeah, my wife will just get up and say, I am going there. I would even ask her where she's going. Or if she say, come with, well, most of the time, I find an excuse not to go. I have learned my lesson. If my wife says, I am going shopping, are you coming? The answer is no. I am not going to spend the whole day shopping. That's not for me. Right. And I know my wife. So I know when she goes shopping, that's shopping. All day. And my daughter join her on that.
Thank you so much, Elder. You see, I believe in being vulnerable. I believe people want to be able to understand that in Jamaica we say real don't real. Right. You understand? And so when we can be vulnerable, You know, but I remember now when Elder was the one who was working and I was the housewife. There was that point in my life, just in case you thought. I was never. Yes. I was raising our daughters and I was at home. And I remember Elder used to leave out like 4:30 in the mornings, right, to drive 48 miles to Kingston. And he would not be back home until night. And then there was also a time when that traveling, I think, got a little bit too strenuous. And so he started to stay over in Kingston. I developed a lot of insecurities. Yes, I developed a lot of insecurities. I'm not saying that he was necessarily cheating, but I didn't know what he was doing way back over yonder, and we never have nothing to track them like no. Yes, now we have devices. We can track him, right? Always, I will call you on video call so we can see where you are. So there are many things apart from infidelity. There are things, yes, that can create that kind of a thing. How about you guys? I know you live very busy lives, right? So how does that impact both of you?
Well, what we have done over the years, Dwayne and I, as far as in our relationship, it always kind of work out where we're either doing the same thing, right? Because when we got together, I was in real estate, and shortly after he got into real estate. And over the years, even now, he just recently got licensed in Georgia. And I have been wanting him to do that for a while. And with the jobs that we've had, we really didn't spend that much time away from each other. Usually, you know, he's home at night, so we don't necessarily have, you know, that concern as far as, you know, you're gone for extended time. However, no, he does go for like a week. You know, he'll go to a state and he may work. But we've kind of doing in that very
yes, exactly, Queen. Exactly.
Yes.
So we live together apart. We have our own lives, but together our lives are better.
Okay.
So I'm into cars. She don't want to hear a thing about cars. She's into the corniest jokes on Facebook. Don't send it to me.
Okay.
So we are together. We're close.
Uh-huh.
But she's doing her own thing. I'm doing mine. And it's not apart. It's like we're giving each other space. So it's like we have already found each other before we got together. So we know what we like. I know what I like. She know what she's like. And then we bring it together.
Let me say something, hold on, let me say something right here. Your difference is not made to complicate things.
Yes.
It's to complement
Yes,
each other.
yes, I think
and
that's
you have to look at that. Yes.
And that's what I was going to say, because as far as like early the tone was set. In a few months in dating, you know, like, okay, you're like a woman, you're like, okay, now you're getting, you know, feelings for a person, and, you know, doing established very early as far as like, babe, my phone ring, answer my phone. Babe, see me password. Right? So a lot of the mistrust would have come in, it just wasn't there. So as he said, you know, we learn to live apart together. We talk about things. We're very transparent with just everything that we're doing. So from very early, it was a different kind of relationship, because he break down all of those things as a woman to be insecure. It's like he knew ahead of time, like, let me just put this to the side because we're not going to have them kind of problems.
Okay, so I am happy that you had that kind of relation. You had the foundations and those boundaries were set. How do you help another couple to identify insecurities in their relationship? How would you be able to help them to do that?
Sorry. I think as a person, you have to find yourself first. Because if you don't know who you are, then when you get together, it's like, I always tell Carson, like, if we are doing a business deal and we haven't figured out how to get it together as yet, don't get anybody else involved. Let's figure out how we can answer all the questions before we bring somebody else, because when somebody else comes in, then that only complicates it. So it's always to figure it out personally, work out all the kinks, and then present it as a business or yourself as a person to, because Carla could not be cheating, or she could give me her password, but I'm not at that point yet. I haven't worked out all the things with me, and I still think she's cheating. So it's all about what have I done to work on myself to really get rid of all those things. When her phone ring, what is it in me prior to meeting her that would have me think that there's something, that's on me. That has nothing to do with her. I probably haven't even been on more than one date with her before that. So that's all on me. Like, what happened to you before so that you think her phone ringing or this person calling is something more than what it is? So I think it's you working on yourself before you presenting yourself to anybody.
See, that is so profound right there, because many times we don't always just meet and you are the first one for me. We come out of different relationships, past relationships, and a lot of the times we tend to take the baggage of the last relationship or the hurts of the last relationship, and we take that in. Back in Jamaica, we say, you use the fat for fry the other person, right? So it is good that you're saying, listen, work on yourself, right? Because if you know you had insecurities in your former relationship, you can't come over here and use that now to say that, this person is like this. You're bringing your insecurities in. So develop your own level of security before you come over here. Good. I'm trusting that we are learning. We are learning how to navigate, because life happens, Life happens. We are big people, we're busy people, and most often than not, a lot of persons, Elder and I, this was our first relationship, right? But if you know anything about our story, which was out there has been problems and trouble in between. Right? But most often you don't find that persons when this was your first person and this is your only person and you never had that challenge before. So that's good. That's good that you said that. Another thing I wanted to find out, though, I want to ask is about building confidence in your spouse. How do you, if it is that you were ever to find out that your spouse is insecure, let me tell you something. You see, we ladies, we make the best detective if we ever think. You cannot put a lock on the phone that we cannot pull it out.
That's what I'm telling you. I didn't have to look over my shoulder. He tried to catch the password. He broke down a lot of that.
So that's what I wanted to tell us. How would you build confidence then, if it is that you ever found out that there was some level of insecurity in your spouse? How would you work with that spouse? And I'm going to share for myself and Elder a little bit. Because as you heard him say, when I got busy, he felt left out, he felt rejected, he felt probably neglected and stuff like that. So when I caught on, because I was busy doing my thing, I do nothing wrong, but I'm just busy, right? But then I found out. So I'm going to share that. But how would you build confidence in a spouse if you detected that?
Well, as you said before, you come from prior relationships, and both of us did, right? I had a child when we met. Dwayne had a child when we met. So to have those relationships as far as talking to the other parent, I had to remain cognizant that Dwayne is the person I'm with now, and I set boundaries for the other person. There's not a certain time, it's just no time with a call, and even if that happened, because sometimes emergency and life happen.
Well, I know. Let's talk about the call part, because some people do not know when to call. The baby mother, the child's mother, or the child's father, for instance. So that is an important factor there. Right. Who says that? Who tells that person? So this is a blended family. Yes. This is what we call a blended family. Yes. Who tells that person that?
Again, I was just, I would talk to like my daughter's father, And it's not necessarily, like I said, listen, to call my phone after certain hours. It's almost like, okay, if it happened and it's after 9 o'clock, I know there's that emergency, the child is safe and it's here, me call you back a morning, you know, to say, you know, what was it? So it's almost like a training that took place because I'm in a relationship now, and you know I'm in a relationship.
Sinbad said it earlier, I know him say we're trained.
Yes. So, you know, over time, that just became the norm. Unless there's an emergency, I don't take a phone call after 9 o'clock.
Do you think, though, Dwayne, do you think that, so for instance, Elder and I are together. Elder has a son outside because we say problem within our marriage, right? And so the child's mother does not know her place, right? Who should tell her?
Elder, man, you're good. We can only hope that people mature and get to where you are but it rarely ever happens. So in that case, if you see like somebody's not matured enough to kind of realize that, hey, this person has a whole other thing going on over here, then you as the man would have to bring it. Like, as I said, if it's starting to involve other people before you figure out how to handle it, then that means it's already gone too bad, you know, because if you haven't figured out how to handle it with her and then you're getting involved, then obviously that's a bigger problem now, because now you're going to have to figure out how to do it twice with more pressure. Yes. When you could have done it with, you know, little to no pressure. So, yeah.
And I think, you know, some people are purposing what they're doing, you know. Because they don't want you to go into a next relationship. So they try to use the child to sabotage the relationship. And you have to be wise in what in how you treat with certain things.
And that's why you have to just nip it in the bud from early, you know, before it even mature to anything of substance.
Right.
So that Auntie Carla can realize.
Yes. Bless Jesus. Because once upon a time, you know, Bishop Carla was not Bishop Carla. Once upon a time, you understand? So, you know, a fight would have to go on somewhere. You understand what I mean? But it's important, though, and I'm thinking way ahead now, because I'm thinking I'm going to have one of these hot seat discussion treating with in-laws in this regard. Because my mind is thinking, and I'm looking at some situations that have helped to resolve where I had to call in an entire family. Yes, to put the cards on the table and to put the boundaries in place. So we're going to get to that one as another point. But I remember, like Elder said, there was a point when he felt neglected. I think neglected would have been and not rejected. He felt neglected because I was consumed with my responsibilities. And by the way, husbands and wives, generally husbands are the ones who are so caught up with their jobs. Because men are created to work, you know. Adam got responsibility before he got a wife. In the Bible, he got responsibility first. I think God watched how he treated with his responsibility before he added to his responsibility, because a wife is a whole other set of responsibility. Right, Dwayne? Yes. One whole other set, right, Glenn, of responsibility, especially when you have a wife who is a shopper. I am not, that's not me. Right? Yes, a whole, Mike, it wasn't me. Right? Right. So when you have a wife who's a shopper, yes, a wife is another set of responsibility. But men generally, though, are ones who are so taken up with their jobs. They are consumed. And a lot of the times, I think a man's job validates him. Don't it? Yeah. Yeah. It's true, don't? Yeah. A man's job validates him. You understand? Glenn fix the car, them, you know, and boy, when him done the car can drive, and he couldn't drive, and whatever that Mike does. And yeah, a man's job validates him. So he spend a lot of time taken up with that. And I try to help them to balance, because you have to balance. So I remember when Hilda started to feel that way, we had a lot of fights though, because we didn't know how to communicate it. He didn't know how to communicate to me that he was feeling neglected, you know, and so him just go flat out jealous. And the Bible said love is not jealous. But we weren't reading the Bible that time. Well, I was reading the Bible that time. Elder was not saved at the time, right? So he was not saved at the time. So I had to do reassurance. I had to do encouragement. You know, I had to make it a point of my duty. And that is how I developed. I started having my days of my week. So I have Sexy Monday, you know, Playful Tuesday and Colorful Wednesday, you know, days.
Flashbacks.
Elders having flashback. Yes, that is how I developed those things, because I saw the necessity now of paying rapt attention to my days. And generally, I used to have, thank you, Andrea. I used to have Mondays, not necessarily off, but it was not if you go to church, not one of those Bible study nights. Because remember, I was still pastoring. So Mondays would have been good. We used to have fasting. It's my first church I pastored. And then I would have the Monday evening to myself. So when he came home from work, I would be ready. You understand? I would make the time for him so that, yes, right? I would give him those times. And I think that helped. You know, because Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, I'm gone. You understand? So I think that helped. But it was more difficult, though, Dwayne. It was more difficult for Elder to, I think, in my opinion, that's my opinion, to adjust, film job something. You understand? To meet my needs, to ensure that my needs were met. Because in his mind, I work to pay the bills. Why me should I curtail that? You know, why me should do anything about that? Me not doing no wrong.
Well, it intertwines. So you say men are all weak. Men are supposed to be the workers.
They are crazy to be, yes.
I don't think it's only work. I think it's to fix problems.
Yes.
To make sure that everything works well. So it may not be the car, but it may be something else that's happening. We know when we work with our hands, you can tell you're working in a car, there's much more work going on in your brain than what's going on with your hands. We're washing the car, so it's more for us as trying to figure out how to make the world spin. Not only just to say how to please you, per se, because we know if we can get the world to spin, then you'll be smiling. We know that you will be shopping. Once we can we're trying to solve like 6, 7 different problems with one, but you only feel the one we're doing. The only one we're doing is going to work, coming home, but we're actually trying to do a lot more mentally than just going to work. So it's a mindset. So it occupies a lot of our mind, and what you're asking us to do now is divert some of that attention to something else that to us, from a goals perspective, may not earn us the same amount of reward.
The people feel like you have a project.
Yes.
And the project is completed, you feel fulfilled. Okay, just like you say to your wife, I'm going to do the garden for you. And you get the plants, and you ask her where she want them, and you plant them, and you use a stone and thing and fix them up. And she said, boy, I love it. You feel fulfilled.
Yeah, and there's a lot of things going on in your head, because
right there.
you heard how much she wanted the plants. You're trying to figure out how to keep them alive so they're not dead in like 3 weeks, because they're going to come back around to you. So it's like she just see you digging the hole thinking that's it, but you're there thinking, okay, she really wanted these plants, they were expensive, how can I maximize their lifespan? That's really not even our duty,
yes.
but we're there trying to figure it out. So there's a lot that's not seen that goes on in the background of a man's head. Any good man, that's what I'll say.
I'm going to say to the online audience, please type in your chat, how do you help your spouse to feel confident and secure in your relationship? What are some of the things that you do so that we can learn from you, right? Because that's what this is about, is that we can hear another perspective and we can learn from that. But something that you said, Dwayne, both of you. I think that, and I'm saying this on the premise of a gentleman said to me just in the course of this week, he does not know how to do what his wife is asking him to do. He's out there and he's trying to make all of the ends meet, and when him come home, she want all of this connection time. Him say him brain not stay so. His brain can't be connecting when him not even sure how the power or the electricity bill is going to be paid. And one of the things that I have learned as a therapist is that men are very unifocused. You know, like we say, you have a one-track vision, mind. Our spatial range is kind of wider. And so we can do a multiplicity of things, right? You can come in from work, sir, and you can drop the bag, put on the dinner, put some clothes in the machine.
Take care of the kids, them, the homework, talking business on the phone, right? So you're doing all of these things. But for Dwayne, when he gets home, that's his time to debrief.
Okay.
That's his time to, you know, drop the load of whatever took place outside, to relax in his sanctuary, which is his home. And later on, babe, if
and you just allow him.
I do, because again, one of the most important thing you can do, you learn your spouse. It's really important that you learn and understand your spouse and you compromise. You may be really excited and want to share something, but I'm cognizant that he's tired.
Ladies, listen. This is wisdom right here, you know.
I'm cognizant that he's tired and his brain is just not going to work. I'm not going to get the full of him. So after he's fed and after he's nice and, you know, you lay down little later on and we can talk. And then I can, you know, say all the things that I wanted to say. And I will have his full attention and full participation at that time.
See, when I've been telling wives that when Elder comes home from a long day, because I know how his brain works, and I make sure Elder used to love a nice glass of very chilled ice water, especially if the ice starts cracking on the top. So if I am home, I try to ensure that when he gets home, he gets that. And then he sits in his chair, and then I don't say anything to him for at least 15 to 20 minutes, because I think he's recalibrating. You understand? And now I have a whole heap of things I want to say. Whole heap, because a study shows that a woman gets 50,000 words in a day to emit, and a man only gets half of that. And that when a woman goes to work, she uses up 24,000. No, she uses up 25,000 of the 50. So she comes home with 25,000. But when a man now only gets 25,000, he goes to work and uses up 24,975.
I only have 25 left.
So when this is what was infuriating now, is when I say to Elder, "What, babes? Nothing. I am here waiting on the rest of the conversation, because what happened means where shall you drive go work? You know, what you eat for lunch? You know, which way you drive come back? I want to know all of the sequence of the events for the day." And he seems to be conserving on his 25 words. So I only hear nothing. No, meanwhile, if you ask me, what happened?
The other 25,000.
Sit down, please. You have to sit down, Mike. Sit down, because me just ready now. You turned me on. Talking about foreplay, this is it. I am ready. You understand? So generally we say yes. What Carla said, so important. Allow the men to have that time to recalibrate themselves and so forth and so on. But then what happens after that?
You know,
you get to talk there, you get the 50,000, the 25,000 words out.
All the words I want to get out. But one of the things that we also do is that we communicate throughout the day. You know,
connecting throughout the day,
yes.
That's important.
Yeah, so if something really kind of stir him out on the street and go and call me and say, "Babe, this is what happened." I help, yes, right? And likewise, if something happened in my day, you know, or so we're just simply checking in on each other. "Babe, how you do? Everything all right?" If I see that a certain time I've passed throughout the day and I haven't heard from him, I know that he's probably having a really stressful day, and I'll just shoot a text message, babe, everything good? And wait for him to respond. He probably send me back a quick message, babe, 10 minutes, you know, something. But at least I am now cognizant that later on, he really gonna come in and there's not gonna be any talking, right? Yes, so I think it's really important to learn the person that you're with.
That is it. You have to know your spouse. You cannot meet the needs or the emotional needs of your spouse unless you know who your spouse really is, the kind of person that your spouse is, right? Now, I know, Elder, I don't think I'm a very talkative person. I mean, when a mic is in my hand, that's a different thing. I'm a communicator. So when a mic is in my hand, right? But generally, like Carla was saying, we want to share about our day. When we come home, we want to tell you everything we're going plus some other things. Is that infuriating for you guys? Like we want to tell you about 1 hour worth of
the right time, we'll do it. But if you just rush into it, it can be, it might not come off too well. Because sometimes you rush a gentleman and he's in that state of mind. His response might show you off. Right? You might get upset. And you say, well then, I'm trying to talk to you and you're not paying me no mind and things like that. And the next thing I know for myself, sometimes when I get home and start to relax, then I find out that I have to have paper and pen, you know. Because sometimes I got a call. Somebody say, send off so-and-so for me. And I say, yes. And I don't remember nothing. When I reach home, then it started to come back to me. And I start to write, and I put it in my pocket. So as I get back to the office, I start to deal with those orders. Because I used to do sales work, right around, so somebody would just call me and say, I am out of this, send me some. And sometime in the business, right away the phone ring again and you start, and you don't remember, but when you come home and you sit, and you start to relax, then all of these things start to come back to you. So what I do, I start to write. Time, yes. Sometimes we need that. And let me tell you, a next thing. No, a next thing. Next thing, you are trying to solve a problem, and you're at work and you're doing everything, and you just can't get the thing. You just can't get the family right. And you sit and relax, and right away, bam, it just comes to you. And tomorrow morning, you just go and deal with it. Let me explain something. Glenn, you ever try to fix a car and car start to give you trouble, that you get upset, that you just drop that vehicle and driveway, and you just come back and just tackle it back again and you get it done. Yeah, just simply because the moment you get upset, you stop really thinking straight. You're not thinking straight at that point. It's just like when somebody gets you upset, and you say something you shouldn't say, and no matter what you do, you can't take it back. You cannot take it back. So sometimes we have to just know exactly how to deal with certain things, and when to deal with certain things, right?
Thank you, Elder Dwayne.
It depends on what, but I don't get upset.
You listen. She don't talk a lot, don't?
She does, but if the things she talk about is the things I want to hear. Most of it involves money.
Most of it involves money.
So if I just came home from work, most of my work involves fixing things, or it could be physical or it could be something that needs to get escalated. So if I'm fixing things all day, then when I get home, that's my time to realize or to, separate what I was fixing out there from what you need fixed or whatever it is. So if I get that time to realize, okay, I'm home now, I'm relaxing, then yeah, the job is there, we can do that tomorrow. There's very few things that you would come to me with that once I'm out of work mode, once I take off that clothes and change
because
and
men
start
have the
to
ability
relax.
to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Very
So
well.
we put work where work is, and then now talk to me about this commission that is short. By how much? Huh? Yes. Talk to me about those things. That's the easiest thing to let me
So,
realize
but if
I'm
she
home.
just wants to talk about her day, the kids, and the problem that
It's
the
weird.
children gave.
We don't talk about those things.
Really? You just handle those things?
Yeah.
And again, it comes back to Dwayne. All right, we're very the way our household works, right? Dwayne he's gonna wash the car, he's gonna mow the lawn, he's gonna fix the car, all of that stuff outdoor. Me not have to worry about it. Indoor, the house I go clean. Both of us cook, so we balance each other that way. Like, for instance, this morning, like I went for 10 hours yesterday driving to go look at some properties, like almost Florida, come back. So by 9 o'clock this morning, dinner done. Not about breakfast, dinner was done.
Yeah, me waiting for my pork on the back.
So in those regards, I learned what was his strength, and I let him operate in his strength.
Yes.
He learned what was my strength, and he allowed me to operate in my strength. So as far as like things with the kids and all of those things, I know that's not his strength, so I handle all of that.
Wonderful. And that's another thing. We need to talk about the S and double, right? The strengths and the weaknesses, because when you know what belongs to your partner, what is intrinsic to your partner, then it's easy, like they said, how they are balancing their relationship and working through. Kenisha says, we built our relationship and marriage on with Christ as a foundation. So we built it on transparency and trust. We had small issues with phone calls in the early stages, and he fixed it. See it there? Mr. Fix It and the Home Improvement Committee. Anthony says, my wife and I have started sharing the highlights of our day in our nightly devotions, and that has improved our relationship significantly. Right, and then Cheryl said, communicate all things. And they're talking about colorful Wednesdays and naughty Thursdays and flirty Fridays and seductive Saturdays. So now we're going to get some of these things here going in the relationship. But it is just so important to be able to build up each other on a daily basis as a couple, right? How we can develop habits over time. Like Carla spoke to, she knows what she takes care of within the house, right? And that's how Elder and I did things. Outside is yours, inside is mine. Yeah. Right? There are a few things, like Elder would know, like I do not like my laundry. Back home in Jamaica, we hardly use dryer because we are tropical climate, right? So I'll hang the clothes out, and if he comes in and I am engaging officer, so he would take them up, but not only take them up, but fold them, because he knows I get very irate if they are not folded, right? So it's just about knowing each other and just developing the habits. Yes, we get very irate doing very, very, fold them. Fold or don't take them up. True. Fold them doing or don't take them up. Yes, because I just don't like to see them like that, right?
He's laughing, to be honest, because, like I said, they will be there a few days to get full. That's why he's laughing.
Mm-hmm. So somebody hand over there, sir. Mm-hmm.
They will. Mm-hmm. Yes, please. And it's okay if this week load come catch last. Yes, it's all right.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Okay. How should couples handle periods of doubt or stress that might impact the confidence in the relationship?
Communicate. If you're sensing doubt about something that is happening in your relationship, in your marriage, talk about it. Put it there. Like Dwayne and I, if something is happening, I say, babe, so and so and so, right? Whether or not he tackle it the same time, he know what I'm feeling. And he really works to ensure that whatever is causing any issues, that it get handled maybe not sometime as quick as I would want it to get done, but you know, he's really good about that. So we just talk about things. We really do.
Okay. Pardon me, what you were saying? What if it's not that simple? She's saying, what if it's not that simple?
Everything is that simple.
Seriously?
Yes.
No, man, some things more complex.
No. Your ability to properly communicate, it might be hard, but the actual problem is simple. But you may not be at the place yet to properly attack it, to properly, address it. But the problem itself is simple. You just can't figure out how to, communicate it, because it's between two persons. Unless you can give me an example.
Because I was about to say, so why so many couples have so many challenges with what is seemingly simple?
Give me one of the challenges.
They communicate, but they don't communicate effectively.
Because if there's a challenge, and I don't say it to you, how would you know that I have a problem with that? You wouldn't know. To be honest with yourself, you won't know. And it is eating me up, and I don't say anything to you, and you don't know. And then it festers.
Let me use money.
Because that's a problematic issue, right? Yeah. Yes. Let me use money. Say, for instance, in every relationship, I believe that one person handles some aspect of the money better, like household expenses possibly. I think females probably are better at handling household expenses. That's has been my experience dealing with couples. A lot men are bigger on the investment, the huge, large investment. I think men take more risk. I mean, I don't know. Some are big risk. Big risk, the big risk. I'm a risk taker, straight.
Me too.
Elder not take none. Elder safe like him safe. You can count on him not taking no risk with nothing at all. But for instance, this is an era where people disagree because you don't discuss money. So for instance, all right, let me use us. When we just got married, we had a joint account because we were told that we need to have a joint account. Elder was the only one working at the time. So he would lodge the money, deposit money in the account. Now, I need to go and get something, so I just go get it. But when I go get it, I don't say to him that I withdraw the money, all right?
You didn't communicate.
I didn't yet. I didn't say to him that I had used the money. And then now, when he goes now into the account, he realizes that the money has been withdrawn. I did create a problem. And I'm like, I need to tell you, the money put in there to use.
And a household things you use the money pan.
Exactly.
Or myself sometimes. I mean, it just really kind of go back to that we're open. Hold on a little bit. No?
Yes.
No, because as I was saying, we're the worst person to ask for examples of issues.
Okay, for issues.
Issues overall.
Okay.
Because I think we kind of, we earlier on we figured out a lot of things.
How long have you guys been married? Or before you got?
Yeah.
We got together, we figured out life in a sense.
Yeah, so
when we came together, it was easy. Okay, how much you make?
Yeah.
How much me make?
The two are not financial people, no so.
We balance each other.
No, maybe but not seem like financially, you guys work in areas like that because not in every relationship, the two persons are like financially savvy or understand the dynamics of how to work that and stuff.
I mean, it's just going to again back to you take care outside, take care inside. Okay, babes, may have the mortgage. You do this, you do that. The cable bill, this. So we have our responsibilities in the relationship when it comes to finances, and we're pretty open with what money. Babe, may I go be $200 short on this? You can transfer some money down in my account, and vice versa. So when it comes to that, we're very open with that. We're not really no hide no money on a secret and none
That
of
is
them
the
something
secret to that secret.
Yeah.
That is the secret to that secret.
Hide money? No. I mean, at no hiding of funds around here. We, you know, how you gonna hide money? You know.
What you say? How you gonna hide?
I can't speak on that part. I've never had to hide money, or you know, my money is her money. You know, this month I make more than her, or this year I make more. Next year she make more. It's all our money. Yeah. You know, I've never felt like it's my money or her money, and I think that's where the breakdown happens. It's always how much we made this year. We, yeah.
The word for marriage, we.
Yeah, we file tax together. Nobody is filing separately unless there's a tax benefit that year.
Oh, if there's a tax benefit.
Let's see what our friend is going to do.
Right.
But that's the only way we would file separately or be in starting to separate. That's the only separation you would see for funds, and it's on filing separately. Okay. Everything else is our money. Everybody gets paid. You know, we don't have separate accounts. We do have separate accounts, but it's not an important thing. It's just sometimes she pay a bill and then she realizes it's from my account. You know, I pay a bill, or she send the money to somebody, she realizes it's from my account.
Cool. Yeah. We're going to have one of those financial harmony discussions one of those times, one of the times in the gym. But you have heard it, ladies and gentlemen. This is the gym, and this is a hot seat discussion. And today we're talking about how to allow for your spouse to feel secure and confident in the relationship. You heard it from the Newells. They say communication is important. Dwayne says, know yourself first. Understand yourself. When you understand yourself and you understand what is necessary, what is needed from you, or what is going to be asked of you in the relationship, so to speak, then you can handle setting boundaries. They spoke to setting boundaries and just being honest and open. Gentlemen, no here, no hide, no money. Tell me the PIN for the card. You understand? The password. It is important. These things are critically important to the harmony of the relationship, right? We can live together. We have strengths. We have weaknesses. You heard Elder Dunbar say it earlier. Our differences are meant to complement the relationship, not to complicate the relationship. We are married and we can live together in harmony with each other if we share with each other. And so that is what we want for you to do. We want your marriage to be strengthened. We want you to have the right foundation for your relationship so that together you can live lasting and happy lives. I'm just going to take the last word from the Newells and then Elder, and then it's a wrap.
Oftentimes, persons, would say, after you get to so many years in a marriage, you're not going to have this kind of problem and stuff like that. And thank God, that we have not really had those challenges because of the way we communicate. So a lot of times people say, yeah, I'm doing all right, everything. We say, yeah, man, we're good. It's not us in the relationship that Dwayne and I are in. We are okay. Sometimes our persons outside of the relationship that may create issues. But in the relationship, we're okay because we communicate well.
And as usual, people just try to see what they can get away with. Let me see how. Yeah, them say them good. Make us see how good them be. Them can withstand this, Let me say this. Let me do this. Let me see if them can withstand that. But somebody said something once. They said no relationship has ever ended because of cheating. By the time cheating started, the relationship was already ended. So I always remember that, to look out for those things that, maybe, come before, so that's it.
Prayer. Can't leave it out. You know, you pray, you cover your marriage, you pray, you cover your house, you pray, you cover your relationship, you pray, you cover your marital bed, you pray, you cover every aspect of your relationship. And put God first. That's one of the things that he said to me very earlier on when he knew that I was in church. And
She was trying to use the Bible to, I'm like, I just met her, you know. Yeah, she was like, you know, I'm in my church and I can't talk to anybody because I'm in my church. And I said, listen, I can't compete with God. So if that's what you're going to use, I'm going to have to step back. So when you figure out that that excuse is not going to work, at least, you know, in how you think it would work, then let me know, because that's not somebody I want to compete with. I love competing, but not at that level.
there you go. And that's been, you know, the life of our relationship. And that's actually, we were having a conversation as to why we shouldn't be together when that conversation. And it was in that moment after that phone call that I said, okay, maybe I can give him a little try. Because he stood up, he held his ground, and he said, I'm not competing with God, because he saw the importance of my spirituality and my relationship with God. I may not compete with God. But if you're ready for something to complement that, then we can talk.
Okay. In a marriage, communication, trust, and honesty, those are solid foundation for any relationship. So if you have those, you can start to build. If you don't have those, you need to get some help.
Good faith conversation too, because sometimes we communicate and we talk, but it's not in good faith. You're asking me a question you already know the answer to. So good faith conversations, like really opening up to hear me say something that you're probably not going to like, and then, you know, figuring out how we're going to handle it, even though I just said something that you're not going to like. So good faith conversations. Make sure this conversation actually going somewhere. It's not just me and you talking because that's what this couple said we're supposed to do. You know, but at the end of the day, there's a goal that is, you know, visible, that we can see. Mm. Yes, yes. That's a very good.
That's a good plug right there, right?
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Keisha Ramsey says, she's just greeting everyone. Kenisha says, communicate, pray about it, and work to fix it. Elaine the Good says, my love. Oh, this person is just sending in their love, the love bowl. My love, thou meanest the world to me. I can't siesta my life without thee. I love thee with all my heart. Right? Janelle said the word for marriage is we. Right? And Tezara said ours. Of course, those are all plurals, because we no longer talk in the singular. Right? And Tezara says all when it's me alone make it, me or she alone make it, it is still ours, not mine. And Elaine says yes, emphatically. There you have it, the hot seat discussion, the hot seat discussion for this week, talking about how to build confidence and to foster security in your relationship so that you can enjoy longevity in your marriage. I want to thank the Newells so much, Carla and Dwayne. Thank you so much for coming. We are here as the Grow Your Marriage Ministry to help your marriages to be strong and to grow, and for you to experience the quality of life that God intends for you to have. He says, and so shall a man leave his father and his mother, and shall cleave unto his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. I'm going to hand over now to Lady Cherise and Sir Glenn.
Did you enjoy that segment of the hot seat? It was pretty hot up in here. Let's thank the Newells. Thank you so much for coming and joining the bishop and elder on the hot seat this evening. Let us go back to our sponsors for this evening. Why Not Create? Emerge Multimedia Limited, Carla Dunbar Ministries International, 720 Support, The Palettes Girl, Women Grow Global, and Larman and Associates. We are now going into giving. And if you'd like to partner with us, you can do so at is it on the screen? No, it's not. It's Carla Dunbar Ministries at gmail.com for Zelle, or it's Carla Dunbar Ministries at gmail.com for Zelle, and CDMI GYMM for Cash App. And if you want to give cash, we also accept that. Thank you so much for giving to the gym. We are going to move into the M&M. Who knows what the M&M is? Do you know what the M&M is, Glenn? It's not candy. It's not candy. It's marriage maintenance. And so we're going to move in the marriage maintenance with Bishop in just a second. But before we do so, let us stand and stretch and pray for the bishop as she comes. Father, we ask that you give her words and help us to understand and to take these words and to put them in our daily lives. We ask that you bless each and every one of us here now. Bless the offering that was given. If you didn't, and all who didn't have to give, we ask you bless them also. In Jesus' name we pray and say thanks. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Lady Cher. And I'm going to be very, very short because I think we had a very lengthy conversation concerning helping to build security and confidence in your relationship. So I just want to speak in probably about 3 minutes on building harmony in a marriage, primarily what it involves to have harmony in a marriage. Now, God intended that when we came together as a unit, that we were supposed to have harmony. In Amos 3 and verses 3, it says, "Can two walk unless they are in agreement?" And so harmony, God expected that. The Trinity, the unity of the Trinity is an example. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, right, is an example of an harmonious relationship where things are happening. So we have to learn to build harmony in our marriage primarily, right? And this involves fostering open and effective communication, as you heard in the discussion on the hot seat, that we not just have communication. Anybody can communicate. I can speak and communicate. I cannot speak and communicate, because there is verbal and there is non-verbal communication. What we have to ensure is that our communication is effective. When we're not having effective communication, we are going to have disharmony in the relationship, because how things are transmitted and how they are received, somewhere along the line of the transmission, you can have bad reception. So if you're not speaking clearly and honestly and openly, then you're going to have challenges with the communication. Then you should also actively listen to your partner. Last night, I think it was in our devotion, or the night before, we were talking about the fact that you can have passive hearing, can be passive, and hearing can also be active. But what was more important was active, and that I call it active listening. right? Because we can hear our spouses because we're not deaf, but we're not actively engaging them and listening. And generally, I tell couples, when you're speaking with each other, face each other. I can't be speaking to you and your back is turned. My husband reprimanded me about that just this very week. That he was talking to me and I was walking away, right? Perhaps I was busy doing something. But to actively listen to your spouse, you need to face your spouse, right? So that your spouse is aware that you are listening. And us women, we like to look into the eyes of our spouse when our spouse is talking, right? We like to look into your eyes because the eye is a window to the soul, right? It is where we can tell if you're lying or you're holding out something, right? But it also helps us to know that you care enough to be giving us your fulsome attention, right? So actively listening to your partner. And also, another way to build harmony is to express appreciation and gratitude. When your wife cooks, or like you heard, Dwayne is the cook, a big cook over there, right? When your husband or your wife does something, appreciate them. And it doesn't have to be anything big. Gratitude is a must, right? So show gratitude to your partner for anything and everything. And never take your spouse for granted. Don't think that because your spouse went out to work, they're supposed to work, and therefore you don't have to say thank you for that. No. Express gratitude and appreciation to your spouse. Also respect boundaries. One of the things that Dwayne and Carla shared was the importance of putting certain boundaries and parameters in place. Respect the boundaries of each other. We are one because we are made one by God, but we are individuals. Elder and I do not share the same kind of recreation all the time. We don't even watch the same movies unless we are intentionally going to watch a movie. We don't like the same movies, right? So then, respect boundaries, right? And then Elder spoke about the fact that our differences are meant to complement our relationship and not to complicate it. So what about committing to compromise? We can commit to compromise on our relationship because compromise is not a bad thing. It's a good thing in marriage, right? Because we are different. We come to the table with different strengths and weaknesses. So we can commit to compromising in relationship. So that if what I am bringing to the table or what I want to speak about is not what you want to speak about at this time, or we don't see eye to eye on certain things, we commit to compromise in our relationship. And also, and perhaps finally, prioritizing quality time. You must spend time with each other. It is important. It's extremely, extremely important. I know people have different love languages. Not everybody have the same love languages. So quality time might not even be my love language. It's not mine. I'm just saying that. Quality time is not my love language, right? Yes, it's not my love language. But if quality time is your partner's love language, then you need to meet that need. But I'm just saying, irrespective of what your love language is, whether it is gift giving, whether it is touching, whether it's words of affirmation, whether it's acts of service, whatever it is, or it is quality time, you have to spend time. You cannot become friends and close friends if you're not spending time with each other, right? So open communication, share your thoughts, your feelings, honestly and openly without blaming anyone, right? Actively listen. It's emotional intelligence. We talk about EI, right? It's emotional intelligence. You have to actively listen, right? Show appreciation and gratitude and be respectful for the boundaries of your partner. Clearly communicate to what those boundaries are, the personal boundaries, what they are supposed to do. And as you express sincere appreciation for your partner's efforts, whether they are big or small, that will help you also to foster harmony in your relationship. Compromise and collaboration. Just be willing to meet in the middle to be able to find solutions that will work for both of you, and just discuss, like you heard Carla and Dwayne said, just discuss openly and honestly and work towards a mutually agreeable outcome. And spending quality time together, you have to dedicate it. You have to be intentional. You have to be purposeful about the time, because life happens, and life happens very, very, very fast. Right? So you have to dedicate and be intentional about the time. That's why you heard me say, I carve out time. So I'll carve out the Mondays, or I'll carve out the Tuesday, whatever the time is. You have to carve out that time. Listen, the way you are vertically in your relationship with God, spending the quality time, being strategic and systematic in ensuring that you have your prayer times and your devotional times, the same way it works on the horizontal. Yeah, you cannot give to God what you're not giving to man down here. True, true. God himself said it in 3 John. He said, how can you say you love me, who you have never seen, and you don't like your brother or love your brother, your husband, your wife enough to give them that same dedicated and committed time in the relationship? We have to learn how to do that, right? And most importantly, also learn how to resolve conflicts. Conflicts are a natural part of life. Tim Elmore said they are natural, they are normal, they are neutral. Avoiding conflict is like standing up in the rain outside and trying to avoid the raindrops and you don't have an umbrella. Learn to resolve conflicts. It will happen because you're two different people. My husband is more introverted than I am. I don't think I'm extremely extroverted, but we are two different personalities. But even though we are two different personalities, we can coexist together if we learn to resolve conflicts together. Harmony is important for any relationship to thrive and to grow. So make it your best effort. Make it your commitment. Make it your dedication to strive for harmony in your relationship. It's not about perfect harmony, because nobody's perfect. It's about perfecting your harmony. And I'm sure that if you do that, your marriage will enjoy good success and you'll have longevity of the love that you share. May God bless you and be with you as you continue to grow in your marriage and in your family together. And if you're single, this is a learning experience. I tell you that, you should sit where married people are and you can hear discussions. You can hear how they navigate in their own relationship, so that when you are ready to make that decision, you would have learned some things. You will also hear what not to do, what not to apply to your own relationship. So the gym is not just for persons who are married. It's for persons who are courting. It's for very, very single persons who are not even in any relationship at all. But it is a place of learning how to grow and how to strengthen your marriage and your relationship. Remember, Hebrews 13 and verses 4. Marriage is honorable, and the bed, the union, is undefiled. Let us seek to glorify God in our marriage and in our bodies, which are His. God bless you. Have a good evening. Thank you so much for joining us at the gym. Those of you who are here, thank you so much for coming out. We look forward to having you again next third Sunday for date night. But remember, every Sunday evening is a gym evening. It's not where you work out your biceps and your triceps. It's where you work your marriage muscles.